Hello, Tommy. I get my promise in here. I get my promise in here.
I hope you understand.
I'm trying to help you while you're here. Trying to help. If you'd like to say anything, the room is yours. The room is yours.
You are now watching Turn to Gold on BB3 TV with your host, the Ghost Boy, Chris Cesare.
Hey everybody, Chris Cesare here. Welcome to Turn to Gold. August 24th, the summer remarkably looks like it's coming to its final third. It's amazing how fast some days, some years go, and some months go, and some weeks, and the days go so slow once in a while, But I'm happy to have you here with me. Spectacular things to talk about. Last time I was here was 2 weeks ago, and since then I've become a werewolf apparently. I don't know what's happening with that, but I guess it's maybe send me your silver bullets. This way I can't be harmed by them, and I can also melt them down and make a profit in doing so. So that's an idea I had when I saw myself in the mirror. Hello, nice to see you. Thanks for being here, Zhang. I appreciate that. Nice to have you along, and all of you out there who are with us this evening. On BB3 TV, Tom, Dom, and Taryn, the three principal owner-operators of BB3 TV, were in attendance at Gettysburg this past week, and it was nice to see them and face-to-face and hang out with them, and nice reminder of what kind of people they are. Very kind, very talented, very giving people. In fact, Dom flew up, I think, from Florida, which is a heck of a ways, and hello there, Vincois. Nice to see you. I had an opportunity to actually hang out with Vincois over the weekend. He flew in from California to arrive at Gettysburg and was my table mate. And he basically watched my table and my books and my objects as I gallivanted around the room talking to people about whatever I could talk to them about. So thank you for your patience and helping me out. I really do appreciate that. It's kind of you. And hello, Mara and J2U. Hello, State College, Pennsylvania. The tail end of my trip to PA was highlighted by a visit to Jeff and Mara, who, as most of you do know, are good friends of mine. Jeff was the individual back at Erie Hall all those many years ago who recorded the journal notes, took the photographs, and helped me through a very trying time. Mara is the individual who, great friend who won the awards for Please Talk With Me in terms of Best Director and Best Picture, and they welcomed me into their home, say hello, and I got to see the movie set, which is really cool. And hello, Carmen. It's nice to see you. I got a chance to talk to you for the first time at length, really. Meet you in Gettysburg. It was nice to do so, and I hope that I connect myself accordingly, and I was a positive influence and not too over the top. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate that. And Barry. Barry, I should point this out, saw me speak, and I spoke with Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez this past Friday evening. And Barry observed my presentation for the, I'm not good at math, but 17th time. And one of the things about when people come to say hello to you and hear you talk and present is you want to make sure you change it up, that it's not the same presentation every time. And I don't use slides. I don't use a script. I just basically speak from the heart. And when I see Barry, I know that I'm in the right place. And I usually try to talk about new things and different things when he's there. Thank you, Barry, from the bottom of my heart, top of my heart, side of my heart, for always being there, for always being kind and supportive and sharing your ideas. I really do appreciate you. I honestly do. And thank you for being there. And Lourdes was the success behind the scenes, basically, for myself and Ron. She did all the tech I did none of the tech. I think actually the one thing I did with tech is I picked the microphone up and said, "Do I have to use this?" Incredible human being. I love her to death. She's such an amazing person, always kind, always positive. And I'm very proud to know you, Lourdes, and thank you for assisting Ryan and I with our presentation. It was a wonderful, wonderful time, and yes, I am a sexy beast only because of this, the werewolf look. Is that Team Jacob? I think it's the. Am I a sparkly vampire? No, I'm a non-sparkly werewolf. I don't know how that works. Do werewolves sparkle? It's been a long time. I'm not quite sure how that works, but there's someone sparkling somewhere. I know that. Hi, April. Hi, it's great to see you. Wait, that's the way, right? Yeah. It was good to see you. And I don't usually hang out with April too much because she's too popular. People usually gather around her table, and I can't get to her, and she's doing readings. And apparently, it's bad form to interrupt readings. Who knew? So as she's talking to their dead loved ones, I say, "Hey, you have any candy corn?" So I guess that's not a good thing. But I love you, April. Nice to see you. Thanks for your friendship. And yeah, absolutely right. That's you know, you do love me. I am a great man. Oh no, what am I saying? Note to self: think before I speak. Okay, so it is. Okay, and Ron says, and I gave him the money for this, so and I appreciate in advance, just so I have to, just like certain companies own certain companies and say we're owned by, Ron says you're the best of what people should aspire to be, my friend, and it's supposed to be what people should aspire to be always. So I'm going to take $5 off that payment, but love you, Ron. Thank you for being here, and thanks for support, and thanks for your friendship and sharing the stage with me. I really enjoyed that. In fact, I just want to say a couple words about that. I have been presenting and speaking now for about 10, 11 years. It's hard to believe, really. And there are a lot of good speakers out there and presenters, folks who investigate, folks who share, folks who create, writers, artists, mediums, all different types of people out there, vendors doing what they can do to make the world a better place, as we talk about in Turn to Gold. And uh, not that long ago, less than a year and a half ago, I got a chance to meet Ron Yacovetti. And I was really impressed first by what kind of person that he is. And that starts with kindness. He's intelligent, he's creative. I had a guest on this show, and I did some research, and what an amazing background story, from stand-up comedy to, I mean, he's done almost everything there is to be done, and he's still kept his humbleness about him. And not that long ago, I realized, you know what, I want to get to know him a little better, and I'd like to actually present with him. I see in him some things I saw in myself many years ago, and I really hope that when I put my hat up on the hook, that one last time, that Ron can take over and keep sharing the positivity and inspiring people, and I know that he can. So Ron, from me to you, thank you. I really appreciate you, and I'm counting on you, and you don't like when I say it, but I'm the past, you're the future, and I'm really honored to be your friend, and I'm honored to know you, and that's the thing. And it is Team Jacob, okay? Thank you for that, Team Jacob. Of course, that means I have to start working out, don't I? Okay, I'm done. I feel better already. Whew, that was something else. Alan Lewis, hello, Alan, that you saw a werewolf at Trader Vic's, and his hair was perfect. I stepped right in that one. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Set and Spike. Um, Barry says the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is once again an awesome event. Caught up with some friends there in the Albany area. Met some wonderful people. Can't wait till next year. And I want to just mention that the Battlefield Bash, I believe that was the 5th year. I think I've gone to 4 of them myself. And they raise money for Wounded Warriors of Pennsylvania. And the last I checked, and this was Sunday afternoon, they had raised $18,000. $18,000. That to me is an amazing thing. And most of the funds are donations. People giving of their time and their services and raffles and just tremendous stuff. It's heartwarming to see in a world where we talk about so many negative things. Where we're thinking about what's happening over in Eastern Europe, the Ukraine and Russia. We talk about inflation. We're talking about homelessness problems. All these things we're talking about. And it's so wonderful to have people to get together. And one of the things I like about it too is that anytime someone acts in a way that supports their words, it's helpful in any area. And sometimes the paranormal gets a bum rap for being a bunch of, con men or just people who pretend and play ghost and they seek, kind of fame or fortune with just making things out of the air just for a quick buck. And I love it when people can come together and put all their talents and actually make a huge difference. And it goes a long ways in having the naysayers take a step back, because then they have to ask themselves, what have I done? It's very easy to point the finger and say something and post them on Facebook and it's negative. It's much harder and much more impressive to help someone in need when it's not required. And all the folks there at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash were there on their own dime, helping out those in need, and very proud of Stephen Pamberry, who once again made an incredible difference in people's lives. And I'm very proud of them. It's just like a love fest, I think, and it continues from the presentation that Ronald Lourdes and I had at the Gettysburg event. And there's Tom. Hi, Tom. It was also nice to meet you in person. It's a really cool thing, you feel like someone online, and you can make some sort of connections, but to actually shake someone's hand, give them a hug, look them in the eye, it's a great thing, and I appreciate your friendship. I do. And it was nice to get a chance to meet you for the first time in person, and it's great. And Barry Marcelo, Alan says, hey, Barry, and they're back at the werewolf who's gonna, no, that's the wrong conversation. Ron Yacovetti, a huge shoes to fill, and I love you, man. Humbled, honored to reach out at the bash next year. Actually, my shoes, let me see if I can hold on a second to fill the shoes. I just got these today. They're probably like a 9.5. They're not that big, actually. But, you probably fill these babies up, right? I like the black bottoms. It's easy to keep them cleaner rather than a white bottom. They're really flexible. It's like the Asics. I don't know what the model is, but oh, no product placement. I'm sorry. Not maybe 3 TV. I can't be doing that with a contract. So my apologies. My apologies. Tom, of course, mentions that he is awesome as heck, and I second that emotion. No, it's just not a really good song, is it? So let me, if I can now, let me go down here into my product list here and see if I can find a nice thing to sell. Let's see. We don't want shoes. What do we want here? We don't want that. No. Create a banner. No. Go in brand and see. Okay, here we go. Let's see now. I'm going to share a picture with you. Let me take off Tom's comment, because I think by now we should know how awesome he really is. Those aren't such. You like great with those shoes? See, this is why I think you're so cool. This is exactly why, and thank you for proving that point. That absolutely rocks. I'm going to go back on here, and so here are some photographs now to share with you from the bash. Here we go. And this is, I pulled a Soul Razor Knight card. Oh wait, that's actually Elder Scrolls Online. I'm so sorry. I do get confused between the real world and the pretend world, and with this Elder Scrolls. I love that game. So let's just take that picture away and go to here. Okay, this is a picture of the top of my skull because I'm hiding the fact I'm a werewolf. And behind me, you see some people. I think these are the folks who are waiting online to see Springsteen. He didn't show up. I guess the monkeypox thing happening, and he's in New Jersey, which is very close to New York, which is very close to Ron and Lourdes and Anthony and Giuseppe. So I understand why he might not want to show up for that. But I'm showing him back later on. So to Alan Lewis, maybe next year. And behind me, you see people who apparently were waving at the person in front of me saying, tell Chris to leave. Make him go. He's saying too much. I don't want to hear it. But here's a picture of the audience that we had. A great bunch of folks there. You can see behind, very popular and happy, and I love them so much. One of the things we had there. And this, of course, is a picture of Chuck Sanders, who tends to each year help me out by selling my books, signing my books, and then applying the profits to some kind of fund. I think it was in a lockbox, and then he will spend it at some point in time on some things that the world needs. So a big shout out to Chuck for being there for me and helping me out with that. Over here we have Steve Dills, Dr. Don Muller, who was a guest on my show, April Bissett, the lovely April Bissett, his wife from New Jersey, who was on a few moments ago, and some dude who's trying to hide the fact that he is a werewolf. And our special guest tonight is the Burger King. Let's just get rid of that picture. No one needs to see that. But really, really, really good time, and he promised, he did promise to take us to the promised. Okay, let me now, if I can, just say a few more thanks. This past 18-month period, I had the unfortunate sadness of burying 9 people that I knew, much of it to COVID. And one of the folks that we lost not long ago was Bill Freeman. And Bill Freeman, there's going to be an event at Summit Mansion honoring him, September the 17th, the Saturday. And I'm going to go there. D. Kirkpatrick and the rest invited me. I'm going to go there and share my experience. Also talk about a few words about Bill Freeman. And, we I think it's important that we appreciate the people in our lives while they are here. We can continue to remember them and honor them once they've passed. Many folks that I know are adept at trying to communicate beyond the veil. I still think it's hard. I think it's a tougher thing to do. And so I wanted to, Lori, I'm sorry, because I love this funny. Loves the Burger King guy. It's better than Grimace, right? I wanted to say a few thanks to people that I really, really admire, and I want to have made a positive difference in my life. I want to start, of course, with Stephen and Pam Barry, who invite me back every single year. They accommodate when I need to speak. They allow me to come and go as I please. They're always kind. They always always good to see them, and they work really hard with very little fanfare for themselves. And so, thank you to Pam and Steve for another amazing Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Thank you to Don Molnar. Don is a hospital surgeon and very intelligent person, a very kind person. Don actually was able to meet some of the celebrities there, and some of them weren't too kind to Don because either he wasn't on TV or they didn't know him yet. I thought it was kind of ironic that here's somebody who's probably the smartest person in the room or the kindest people in the room, and because he didn't have a particular social standing or somebody hits on TikTok, it wasn't worth these folks' while to speak with him. And I explained to Don that, that's about them, not him. And to keep in mind the folks who treat you well and the folks that do not treat you well. So when you have an opportunity to make a difference and help other people out, you reward the folks who've been kind and will care about you no matter who you are and how much money you make and where you work and what you wear and how you speak. And so that's a very big thing. And I know there's good things in store for Don in the near future. And I know when he gets to that level, he will treat everyone with kindness and respect, which is a very good thing. I want to thank Chris Sanders, who was there. Chris Sanders, by the way, is part of a team that is hosting the very first Sleepy Hollow, New York Power Fest, October 22nd. And it's the birthplace of Washington Irving, who wrote the Tales of the Headless Horseman, Ichabod Crane, that's that one, Rip Van Winkle stories, so Hudson Valley, early 18th century writing. It's an amazing place to go. They have beautiful cemeteries, full foliage. So if you get a chance, go online and try to get some tickets. Make sure you get shut out for the first ever Sleepy Hollow Paracon. I will be there. Very proud to be there. It's my back door, so I'm looking forward to an event to travel too far, and that'll be the last event that I do until the next year, 2023. I want to thank JT and Cindy Burkhart. They have a little ghost they bring around. It's a little figure. And every time I see them, they bring the ghost and we have a nice time. And they're just real good diplomats, real good spokespeople, representatives of what the paranormal is, kind, funny, decent, and I just, again, these are folks who you may not see every day on your television set. They may not be on Discovery Plus. They may not be on Forbes magazine, but they're kind, decent, awesome people worth knowing. And if I can put them out there and let you know about them, I really want to do that. Brooke Haramaya, Brooke Snook. Brooke is probably the most self-effacing person you're going to meet. She's hardworking. She's going through so many things in her life, and she still maintains a positive attitude. She gets there a day before and leaves the day after, and she has thousands of things she brings, and she sells these very rare, sometimes obscure, sometimes beautiful objects that you can buy, from antique calendars and lamps to plush stuffed animals to trading cards. It's a throwback to the old five and dime stores, if you don't know what those things are. Mom and pop store where you can go into that place and just see new things, see things, old things, and not feel as though you're just going to the same store, seeing the same thing place after place with different sticker on them. Very, very, very kind person. Yes, and Barry. Yeah, Bill's a great guy, very positive. He always, when I was ready to say hello to me and thank me, and I'm not, and not only me, many people. He had a graphic exterior, and under that graphic exterior was a teddy bear. And I love the fact that he could defend what he believed in, and at the same time turn around and give you a pat on the back and say thanks for being here. So very kind thing. Leslie, you were very kind when I introduced myself at the bash. Thank you for that. Oh well, I aim to be. One of the things that I realized about having a format, I'm very lucky, Leslie, in that event promoters will invite me to their Paracons, to their conventions, to their fundraisers, to their expos, and allow me to speak. Those are prize spots. Not everyone gets to speak at these things, and time and time again, they'll invite me back and honor me with that opportunity. And I always try, if I can, to do two things: share a message of positivity and hope, not because I'm supposed to, because I believe in it, and also meet people and really, try to expand my circle of friendship. Once you meet with someone and talk with them, it creates a connection, not just energy, but a mental connection, a physical connection, so that when you see someone in the mall or the parking lot or the shopping center, that's part of your fabric now. To make you feel closer to home, to ground you, to base you, to know you belong. And I love meeting people. I got the chance to meet a young lady named Sydney, so very shy, you know. And she kind of walked over a little bit, and was very pensive, and she said hello, and she actually ended up bringing me and buying for me a peach cobbler, which is amazing. So I was telling her when my mom was pregnant how she kept getting peaches and peaches and peaches, and that was me. So remembering that, I say she bought me a peach cobbler. It's just such a kind gesture, unnecessary and awesome. And then I spoke to her mom. Her mom came to me later on and said, "Thanks for you don't know who I am, but thanks for being nice to my daughter." And of course, that's the name of the game. You and I think my parents, they got a gratitude for that. My dad said to me, you don't get wealthy in any way wealthy in terms of money, spirituality, anything, by trying to get wealthy in any way. You get wealthy in terms of friendship, money, resources, spirituality, by doing what you love and sharing it, and people will then understand and appreciate that, and appreciate you for sharing your gifts with them because you're being honest with them. And I really think that's something that I'm lucky to have. My mom said to me, Chris, be a good person. Just be a good person. It was the most important thing to her. The unconditional love. I know that many of us don't have that in our lives. And I tell you, people time and time, I'm so fortunate to have so many friends, to have so many supporters, to have many members. I don't deserve any of this, and I want to give back every chance I can because I love you guys. I really do, And I see a little heart from Nancy Larson. I met Nancy and her husband John at the New Jersey Community Expo back, I believe, in July. Briefly, it was a very nice conversation. I felt like I knew her forever. I felt like we had grown up together, either as classmates or siblings, And it's tough sometimes when you speak at 30, 40 events and you meet thousands of people, but sometimes a person kind of just gets into your psyche, into your mind, into your heart, and just they make a big impression, and she did. And Nancy and John showed up at the Battlefield Bash and actually treated myself and a friend of mine to a dinner, which I really do appreciate. It's a kindness that I don't forget. And going from lying on that bathroom floor, thinking perhaps that I was going to perish, to being treated to a dinner by folks I just met and showing such kindness, I really speaks to the power and the beauty of the human spirit and what people can do if they choose to. And I'm very blessed to know both Nancy and John, and I appreciate you both. I really do. Great discussion we had too about certain laws and society and things while we had our dinner, And yeah, I think Tom, I think that I want to echo what you say. Love and light's important. There needs to be some darkness. There needs to be some shadow to accentuate, to pull out the light. And I think that's why some people like to see horror movies and things like that. Or sometimes we're so focused on the obituaries or what's happening with who, because I think it allows us to contrast. One of the things I notice about society, it's a little bit sad and telling, is that it takes things like 9/11 sometimes to bring us together as a nation. When in fact, most of us, although we might have different political viewpoints, different lifestyles, different languages, have the same needs. We need to eat, sleep, we laugh. We cry in our own way. We seek some kind of friendship and some kind of satisfaction. We have goals that we like to meet, and we fear we can't meet them someday. We all to some degree fear what happens later on too, because as confident as we can be, the concept of death affects us all. We're not 100% sure exactly what that means for us, and so I think that's one of the reasons why there's such a fascination with the paranormal and what can happen after, and I just wanted to mention that too. Um, I want to talk about Michael and Rosalind Lewis. Um, they presented as well, and they did a great job talking about angel card readings, talking about spirit. They did a high degree of difficulty. As a presenter, you know what is difficult and what's easy, and the hardest thing to do is to go back and forth, call and response in a presentation, while you have a main theme going back and forth, and then three subsets within the main theme going back and forth. So I don't think I've ever seen such a difficult, uh, planned presentation before, and it went amazingly well. It was informative, it was positive, it was educational. So my hat's off to both Rosalind and Michael Lewis for a tremendous presentation that I was fortunate enough to be a part of, and in the audience, and just support my friends. I think it's a nice thing. I want to thank Dennis Tassone for making the trip out from Manhattan. He works in showbiz, and he always takes the time to come out and say hello and support people and his friends. That's very kind. Gina Bankston, the Paranormal Fox, Bob Christopher, they were there, and it was great to see them. In fact, here's a photo of Gina with Batman. Gina won the prize to tour Gettysburg in the Batmobile. And I just love that. And I don't care who you are. All of us have a piece of childhood still with us. All of us do. And when you see something like that, a dream come to life. Most of us as kids want things to happen. We want Land of the Lost to be there so we could go on the raft and catch a dinosaur and talk to Chaka. We want to see the Super Friends. Hope they were there in some way. We pretend out in their backyards that we're Superman or Spider-Man or things like that. And even though you have to take the fourth wall down, just to see someone who created this vehicle to bring happiness to kids, to inspire dreams. And Gina got a chance to actually get in that vehicle and drive around, and people were honking and waving, and just what a beautiful thing, and that's another thing that Pam and Steve Barry do, is try to create a well-rounded, a very multifaceted program for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. They had bands there, they had food trucks there, just an amazing thing. They had 80s parties and dances, and so I wanted to share that with you as well. And that's a nice thing. And then here is Michael and Rosalind's giving their presentation about angel card readings, which I happen to have on here as well. So very, very proud of that and the job they did. And Tom says, I may not physically cry, but internally this weekend, seeing all of us together made me cry internally. Be with you together, loving each other. I am proud of you all. So yeah, and it's sometimes in society, guys were told that we really shouldn't emote. We're too tough for that. You got to stiff upper lip. But I remember crying when my daughter was born. So happy, I couldn't believe it. I was so proud to be a dad. And I think that we're allowed to, even though we're still on this mystique of the male. That we can express our emotions, and women can do the same. Going to the days where women had to hide behind a moving fan, and just hope for attention from man. Now the opportunities are there to forge your own dreams and to lead by example and to inspire others. And I think that's a very good thing, and I think it makes us all stronger. Barry mentions having emotions from the event. Emotions, yes, and I really think that's one of the best things, especially coming out of COVID. Especially coming out of COVID, where you couldn't see people. If you did get a chance to see them, their whole face with the masks on. We had to isolate and quarantine. We couldn't go places, and it's so nice to be able to see people again and to get together. Thanks, Ron. I appreciated it. Leslie, the dinosaur. It was so cool. This huge T-Rex walking throughout the complex. Of course, there was behind it saying, "Nothing to see here. Move along. Nothing to see here." And this giant Tyrannosaur. So I try to kind of mess that moment up, but I really enjoyed that, and I think it's once again one more cool thing about the Battlefield Bash. I want to thank Michelle Cassim Smith Michelle is a very quiet individual. In fact, at New Jersey, she went to say hello to me, but I was so busy at my table talking to people that she's actually been away eventually. And I actually saw her out. I'm like, don't leave. I'm sorry. I'm not being rude to you. I just don't know how to talk to 8 people at once. And she was there, and we got to talk for the first time really in a while. And she likes a performer named Aaron Lewis, just so you know. So if you're a friend of Michelle, over a couple of drinks, I found out she likes Aaron Lewis, the performer. So for her birthday, as a gift, that's who and what she likes. John, Ruggiero, and Chris Therian were there, right by the door. Many of you know them from their event, which is the New Jersey Parade Expo, one of the largest in the Northeast. And they were there at a booth talking about things. Very, very nice people. I've known John for many years, and there's a family respect for that. We have an open, a very direct relationship based on trust and honesty, and I appreciate that. And Chris is just an angel on earth. There might not be anyone I can point to who has had a tougher road to walk and has walked it so bravely and so positively. So my heartfelt support to you, Chris, and respect and admiration. Jody Nettles was there. Jody Nettles, she has the show Crossroads Paranormal. She was there with her group, and I believe she'll be at the Selma Mansion as well. Very fun lady. Nice to talk with her and see her. Athena Balch, she had her inventory there, and I actually purchased, I can see it, a Celestial Cosmic Reading card set. I like the way that it presented itself. It looked. They say that the card calls you. I've never had like tarot cards before like that, or reading cards, so they're kind of cold to me. And usually I walk around just at the last second of an event, and it's too late to buy anything. So I just went back there and I purchased that. I'm very, very happy with that. And Ms. Ross says Michelle is awesome. She'd shared some of her favorite concert visits with me. Very cool. Now, are those the ones that we can or can't see? Remember the ones that we could see? And note to self: strike that from the live show. Can't strike from the live show. Stop talking about those videos we can't. All right, got it. So let's move on from that. That was just dodged that bullet there, huh? Ernie Atwell was there from Maryland. He and his partner in crime, David Seiler, law enforcement officer, very dynamic speaker, very good person, supporting, helping. It's always nice to see him, get a chance to see him. Tara Shea was there more with her daughter, very, very nice person to talk with and see once in a while I see them. Anthony Simonelli, Giuseppe Cardana are the Fantastic Four members on the side of Lourdes and Ron. So it's kind of like Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Girl, the Thing, and Human Torch. I don't know which one of those they are, but I got a chance to talk to Anthony more. I did years and years ago. He sat next to me, harassing people by my table, which harassing. Yeah, he's harassing them. Yeah. And then for the first time, I spoke to Giuseppe at length, and he was so impressed by my that he gave me some hot tamales, which, as we all know, are my favorite snack. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, enough of that. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Yes. And Ron's talking to Vince Swan in the chat room, and one of the things that Ron did that Vince liked was that he said, by a show of hands, who it's being polled. Genius. Again, I love things like that. I keep going. I want to thank Skip and Patty Lyon. They were at the event, but they watch this show each week after it airs, when they escape from their busy lives and their children and their grandchildren. They've been family friends for many years. And in fact, Patty is the wonderful woman who drew the image of my granddaughter, Sylvie, you see on the bookcase every week in my show. Very kind, spiritual woman, and her husband Skip's the salt of the earth. They're really good people. I want to give them a shout out to Steve Dills with his family was there. High energy, positive, kind. I'm getting to know him a little bit. It's just nice to know people. Michael Pabian, a photographer, he takes photographs, students and things like that. He has a job of having your children pose for photographs for the yearbooks. Good luck. Anyway, just nice to see him as well. And so I think I made a list. I have 74 more to go. So I think I should be done by let's see here, Tuesday next, which is August 3rd. This is now for the next show. I joke, but I really want to thank people. I never get to do that. Scotty Davis, Kelly Miller, people that always say hello to me and help other people and send positivity into the air. Okay, so those are the thank yous. I was hoping to discuss a few things with you in the second part of tonight's program. We'll go back to the guest format next week. I have 6 guests lined up all the way through October, so we should be back to the regular format. But I just want to really speak to you and talk about a few things. The first thing is blocked memories. I've been, as you may have known, working on my memoir in relation to a project that's coming out in 2023. And I've been going through Jeff's journal notes from the haunting back in February, March, and April of '85. And I'm reading a lot of things that I had blocked out, things that either because there was too much on my mind at the time or it's too frightening for me to consider. And I realized looking back that we do block things. Even when we feel we have a handle on things, we tend to block things that are unpleasant, that disturb us, that make us feel uncomfortable. And I think that's probably part of the protection of the human psyche that we do for ourselves. I mean, I think every time you have a breakup of a relationship, you kind of put some of those feelings eventually aside, you move on. I think when you change jobs, we always say, don't lose track. I'll keep writing to you, stay in touch. And then we don't see that person again for 20 years. I think that there's a mechanism that keeps us from being too sad, that blocks memories from actively being accessed. And so reading back to these notes from 37 years ago, I realized a lot of things that I had done and said, I just forgot. I think another part of that, the second aspect of forgetting, is that we try to create our own narrative. We try to create our own image. We dress a certain way, we talk a certain way, we live in a certain place. We try to present ourselves, we want to present ourselves to others. And in doing so, we select parts of ourselves, actions, thoughts, belief systems, and history, and then we share parts of ourselves. And it's interesting to note, looking back at what happened back then, there are some people early on in the haunting that I forgot about. And so when I went on Sci-Fi School Spirits, or I did the Travel Channel show, my horror story, or when I wrote my first book all those 8-9 years ago, they're almost nicely left out. And I realized, looking back at these notes, it was because I was sad to lose them from my life. A kind of interesting thing, right? So I'm going through some thinking, oh my gosh, I remember her, I remember him, and all the time spent. And it's another cautionary tale to suggest, please, allow yourself the luxury of remembering, allow yourself the opportunity to learn from even the tough things in life, and I'm wondering, if you think about yourself, I mean, are there people that you've come across in the past 5 years, 10 years, from your childhood that you miss, that maybe almost kind of forgot about, and you might see at a funeral every 15 years, you might see in the shopping center every 6 years. And, I wonder if sometimes if that's because of you just grow apart because of interests or because of schedule, or just maybe you're afraid of losing them and so don't hang on. And there are some people who do not get kittens or puppies because they don't want to have to, down the road, put them down. Sometimes for some of us, there's this separation anxiety. We don't want to have to work through the sadness that inevitably accompanies every relationship. And one of the interesting things I think about that is that every relationship in some way will end. Eventually, all of us at some point in time will slip from this mortal coil we call Earth, and to hopefully go to greater rewards. That is the hope, correct? But every marriage eventually will, in some way, stop to be active when a person breathes their last. Every job will end when a person retires or steps away. Almost everything we have is temporary in nature, which is one of the reasons why I want to take tonight to talk about thanking people and being kind and trying to accent the positive in and for each other. Every time you see someone, it could be, hopefully it isn't, the last time you see them. And every time I look back at my Facebook post and the memories from a year ago and 2 years ago and 10 years ago, without fail, I see somebody that I really miss, that I really miss and I wish was still with us today. But it's hard to predict things, isn't it? It's hard to predict. It's hard to know. There are things that we can do to help us stay here. Eating properly and exercising, driving carefully, making smart choices. But we all know, we all experience that even with those things being done, that life can throw you a curveball. Back when I was a caseworker in the 90s, I was assigned a case in a city by me. And I read the accordion file and I got in my county car and I went to visit this young girl. This young girl has been brutalized by a relative, assaulted, and she was put into a foster home. And she was, of course, traumatized by the attack against her by someone that should have known better and protected her. It just didn't happen. Over the years, she began to talk a little more and go beyond the events that initially defined her. And and I always wondered what had happened to this young lady. And I'm very proud to report that just not long ago she reached out to me and that she's happy, that she's healthy, she's married with children, she has a career, and we're looking forward to having a lunch with her soon. And so there's a case where she reached out and she decided to say thank you. And I think, as Lorraine Warren said, like attracts like. You put energy out that is positive, positive energy can come back to you. I think it's a very important thing to focus on. And so, going to prediction, what do you think about that? Some folks feel that certain things in life are meant to be. Things go in threes. A love at first sight. It was bound to happen. I saw it in a dream. Deja vu. Many people that I know believe that there's some kind of static relationship, that there are points on our timeline of our lives that are determined, that are put there by a creator, by circumstance, by a guardian angel, by their acts and words of our parents or ancestors, that there are these vibrations that through families. Others think, no, that's the way that can happen. All things are chaotic, all things are unplanned, and all the best you can do is try to weave things together and try to make a best choice as you can make. And I wonder where you folks sit on that. Do you folks believe that there can be love at first sight, that there can be things that are supposed to happen? Do we have fate or destiny? Are we meant to do certain things and or be in certain places? Or are we following about doing the best we can in a brave and intelligent fashion, going from point A to point B, as point B continues to move and change and shift? Here's something. Question. It says, the pick over your left shoulder. Who is the pick in the last of that image above the lamp? Okay. So this pick right here, okay, above the lamp, I can see Jeff Unger, who's in Sci-Fi School Spirits. I can see my father, Vito, who is also in that same program. I see Beth Kinsman, who shared that opportunity with us, and myself. Over this way is interesting. Very controversial to a degree. In the Catholic faith, and this is a Catholic icon, this is of Pope Pius XII. There's a practice whereby you can purchase prayer. So the woman in that from 1943 who lived in Philadelphia, named Sarah Connor, was sick and she was passing of cancer on her deathbed. And she wrote a letter and sent some funds to the Vatican in Rome, to the Pope, and asked, can you please say a prayer on my behalf? Can you please, in the Vatican, in St. Peter's Basilica, with all the faithful gathered there in that holy place, please say a prayer for me, for my suffering to end, for my soul to be at peace. She sent those funds. And then what came back, what she treasured, was signed and stamped from the Pope saying, we said for you a prayer in the Vatican with the pilgrims there in your honor, so that you know you're not alone. And those things are controversial. That why are you paying money for help? Well, they just need those things. And then the other thing is that she had funds and she said, listen, I feel alone and I want somebody to think of me. And in doing that, she was able to have the peace, hopefully, that she was requesting from the Pope back in those days around the time of World War II. Below those photographs, you'll see a book that I helped to co-write about the haunting. It's a case study. And then there you will see the two Ed and Lorraine Warren statues from their library, monks, and then the picture of the ghost right there. So I feel like I have cool things behind me. Even the scary death rabbit over my other shoulder. Yay, death rabbit. But so I hope that I answered your question. Um, Ron says, Vint, I appreciate that. I like to put the audience at ease, set the tone for informative entertainment, which Christopher de Cesare is the prototype embodiment of. Yada, yada, yada. No, I appreciate it. He's the best. And you guys, well, I love you guys. I do. Barry says that this happened to me from what I learned very early Friday morning. One of my good paranormal friends from the Eastern New York area was killed in a hit-and-run accident. Yes, take the moment to talk with someone you know, even if it's a distant friend. Yeah, it's strange because human beings aren't very strong animals. Exoskeleton? No. Chameleon powers? No. Prehensile tail? Sorry. Poison? No. Claws? No. We are fairly weak creatures. Go for the neck, it's over. Luckily we have a rib cage to protect our lungs and our heart and a skull for our brain. Other than that, we fall prey to most animals out there, but our brains separate us. Our intelligence, our creativity, our the ability to create and to build has led us to, in essence, ascend to the top of the chain. Hopefully, to not destroy, but to help the garden and to preserve what is created for us, whether you believe in evolution or creationism or something in between. And hopefully we use our intelligence for good and to help the species, not so much just for personal gain. Tom says that you have Khalil behind you as well, but we're always here for you, brother. Yeah, and I appreciate it. No one knows what we have in store for ourselves, right? We just don't know. And that's part of the excitement, right? When you go to a movie, is it going to be fun? I hope so. If you go on a trip, will it be rewarding? I hope so. When you ask someone on a date, you ask someone to marry you, you ask somebody, you hope that will be, you're excited about what will happen next, The countervailing force that, of course, is that if it doesn't go well, you kind of sometimes have to start over or lick your wounds and move beyond, And Barry, I am very sorry for your loss. I hope that the family finds some peace and hope that you're okay working through this very, very difficult time. Most of us here at BB3 TV and most of the people who will be watching this program do believe that there is a reward of some type waiting for people, and hopefully that person, hopefully they find theirs, hopefully they find theirs. It's a tough thing. And, I think that while it's hard to digest, the end will come for all of us. Most of you do know too that I have a granddaughter. I just head over heels for. I can't believe I made something as cool as that and made something as cool as that. Just a beautiful thing. And I hope that I see a good portion of her life. I will miss most of it, not just mathematically speaking. The human body can only go so long. But I'm hoping that in the time I have with her, that she will know that her pop-up loves her, that she has value, and that, if it is possible, if it is positive, I'll watch over from the other side and keep an eye on her, make sure that, that things go well for my little angel there. So I think that's a cool thing too. I also wanted to talk a little about the concept of auras. I was reading in gestural notes back during college that we did an aura workshop. One of the students at college in my communications class, his name was Dean, mentioned to me that you did a good presentation, Chris, and the reason is that you have a very powerful, very golden aura. And I thought to myself, yeah, it wasn't all the hard work I put into it or effort or my intelligence. Kind of sarcastic, because back at that age you are when you're a young kid. But we thought about it. That's when my friends and I believe it was Jeff and Craig and Beth and a few others did an experiment from this book that Jeff had found in the Milne Library on campus. And we basically took a bottle of white wine. We soaked off the label so you could see through the whole thing. We put black construction paper behind us to create a contrast. And then we shone a light from above we top lit us. So there we'd sit in a chair in front of the black construction paper under the spotlight. And then people would take turns looking through the bottle. to see if they can see the energy distortion around the person. The concept of aura, of course, being the nimbus, being the energy around someone. The halo specifically would be the around the head. The aura usually causes the whole body, as far as I understand it. And we did this experiment way back 37 years ago, and most people felt as though if they saw something, if they saw this people's auras, and they compared notes. And I'm wondering too about that, because when you breathe, it gives off heat. When you perspire, it gives off heat. People sometimes say they can feel energy, and I saw folks doing Reiki. Anthony and Sabrina were doing Reiki at this table, and I guess the concept is you don't necessarily lay on hands, but you put your hands near the person's body, and you infuse them with a positive energy to help clean their aura, to help purge them, to relax them, to maybe eliminate some of the pain. And I'm wondering too, if you go through, do we have this? Is this something that we do? Do we as human beings have energy that most of us just can't see, that projects beyond us? Some folks say, well, you walk in a room, you can feel the mood without actually seeing or smelling. So there must be a way that you're doing this. Maybe your sixth sense is allowing you to feel or read the room, right? And there are times you might be on a subway or in a bus or in a large room, and you think to yourself, I think somebody's watching me. Then you turn and sure enough, someone's staring right at you. You could not have possibly known that. So I'm wondering, and maybe in a future show we'll talk about that, the concept of an aura, of energy, of chakras. And of course, there are so many, 7 chakras, and according to theory, they have each different color, and they're a different part of your body, and they symbolize different things. And I'm not sure if that is something that people created just to help understand it, or if that is something they discern from experimentation and their own life experience. So I'll have a show about that. We'll talk about that as well. And hi, Patricia. Hi. I'm your number one fan. Thank you for sharing your son with the world. He's a great, positive role model, influence. Great guy. Got a chance to hang out with him a little bit at Gettysburg. Very, very proud to have done so. Very proud. And Daniel Class, we are not worthy. We are not worthy. Daniel, great gentleman from Western New York. Runs the Hindu Restoration Project, involved in all kinds of things to help people. He does fundraising. He is a jack of all trades. He's a Renaissance man. And Dan, thanks for popping in and saying hello. Love you. I'm proud to be your friend. Proud to be your friend. Thank you much. And Leslie. Oh no, don't laugh, Dan. It's true. I'm proud to be your friend. Leslie, I can feel spirit, you say. It's like goosebumps on steroids. When I was back in the dorm with Jeff, we would feel like these zones of cold. And it seemed as though where we thought the ghost was, it would be very cold in that area. And Jeff posited that perhaps the spirit was drawing energy from that area, from either us or the lights or the heat vents or some electricity current where it could actually form itself and make itself appear, or has some physical substance where it can move things and send things around. And so another cool concept to consider as we wade through the next few shows to see good topics to discuss and to share. Tom, you mentioned, they say funny that you term garden applies to me so much. I had the opportunity after the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash to take a ride up with Vince from California. Flew out. He was my driver, my faithful partner there for my wingman in that moment for the weekend. He drove me up to State College to see Jeff and Mara. And we were talking about the past a little bit, because we share a past, all of us. And I remember sharing with Jeff something maybe very sad, but very wise, I thought, at the same time. And that was his father. His father survived post-World War II in Austria, Germany area, after the Nazis and the war. And he learned some skills, how to survive, catching fish with his hands and things like that. And one of the things he learned was gardening. So even though he became a well-known architect who planned out the Strong Memorial Museum out that way and some of the hospitals and things, very well-known architect, he would go home after work every day and garden. He had this beautiful garden with these trees and these flowers and these trellises. And it was like a little paradise that he built every day by hand. He made a nice little, grotto amongst the world, And when he passed, his garden fell in disrepair. It got overgrown with weeds and plants. And all the work he had done just was gone. Temporal like he was. And that reminded me of my grandmother, my great-grandmother, who took me in her garden and said, these are the roses. I was 4 years old. If you feed them, and talk to them, hold them, just like children are big and strong. And my grandmother, great grandmother, is long since passed, and her garden is long since gone. But we hold these people memories in our hearts and in our minds. This garden, we nurture the garden, hopefully, of our soul, of our spirit, of our minds. And hopefully that's with Barry. You can do the same thing with your friend who recently passed in the car accident. We hold on to these things. And I think maybe that's the most important thing to end our show on tonight is the concept of appreciation. Appreciation. We live in an environment that unfortunately fails to appreciate most things. Where how I feel becomes more important than what I should do. Where my anger over someone's lack of sensitivity will override my desire to help them, as a general speaking term. And I think that it might be good for all of us to just take a few moments this week, another quiet time, and just think about someone that we've lost in our lives who was very positive to us as a role model, as a friend or relative, and think of one thing that we did with them. Have a barbecue, go to a picnic, go to the movies, listen to music, go for a jog, go fishing, sing songs, draw, dance. Maybe pick one person over the next few days. Remember what you did with them and do it again. We often talk about the idea of honoring someone. Well, words are awesome, aren't they? Words can make us feel good. Words can move people to tears and to joy. But actions change lives. And I'm wondering if maybe some of us this week should sit down. I'll do the same myself and think of someone we've lost and say, okay, what can I do to remember them? What can I do? What can I make? What can I achieve? What can I share with someone else? Because if they are there and they're okay, they'll see that and they'll know you're thinking of them, that they mattered, and then you matter too to someone else. I think that'd be a beautiful, beautiful thing. So my apologies for this diatribe. I just wanted to take some time tonight and thank people who have been very kind in the past week, past months, past years. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank a woman named Kelly Nobe. Kelly lives in Europe. I've been corresponding with her for about 6 months. I can't say exactly why or how. It's a project we're working on, but she's been kind and decent and hopeful and positive. And I thank her for giving me some added positive energy into my life too. And next year we'll just share what she is working on. So Kelly, if you're out there listening, if you hear this later point in time, thank you for your friendship and thank you for all you do, all of you. So I'm going to head for the closing trailer. I love you guys. I love you all. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for caring. Thank you for helping people when you can. I say it all the time, and it's kind of like my catchphrase now, but I believe in it, and if it's true and it helps, say it. So until next week, the Wolfman signing off. I love you guys. I really do. Take care. Be well.
This has been Turn to Gold on BB3 TV.